Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see about the recursion in C. This is one of the important concepts in function. Let us define first of all what is a recursion. A function that calls itself is known as a recursive function, and this technique is known as recursion. That means within a function name the same function is called again and again. That is called as recursive function. Let us see the syntax of the recursive function. Void recurse, that is the name of the function, and then open brace. There are few statements. Then again we are having the statement recurse. Here this is the function call. So within the function recurse, the function is called again using the function name recurse. That means function within the function. That means same function is called by the function. That means the function call itself. That is called as a recursion function. And the example here is integer main open brace. There are few statements, and then here recurse is the function call. Now the difference here is in the main function the recurse is the function call, whereas in the function recurse it is the recursive call. Let us see the diagram to understand this better. Void reverse, void recurse, and then open brace recurse. After some lines recurse is the function call, then some statement, dot lines shows some statement, and then close brace, and then integer space main, int space main, open brace, and then function recurse is called. So you can see here the call within the function main, within the main function is the normal function call, okay, and within the function recurse, the recurse is called again. That is called as a recursive call. This is the difference between the normal function call and the recursive call. Now let us see an example of printing the Fibonacci number. You have done the same program without recursion. Now let us do the Fibonacci series using the recursion function. So void print Fibonacci int n. Here print Fibonacci is the function name and int n is the argument. The function opens static int n1 is equal to 0, n2 is equal to 1 and n3. We are declaring three variables n1, n2, n3, and we assign two values initially, n1 as 0 and n2 as 1. Okay, and it is defined as static. This is one of the storage class. Okay, so now we are checking the condition. If n greater than 0, open brace, n3 is equal to n1 plus n2. That means if you want to print numbers more than, means we have to, if you want to print the Fibonacci series, we are going to add the first two numbers to get the third number. So that is what here given is n3 is equal to n1 plus n2. Okay, and then after finding the third term, now the first term will be discarded, second will become the first, and third will become the second. So that what is given as n1 is equal to n2 and n2 is equal to n3, and this will help to find the fourth term. Okay, so likewise the function repeats the same statements. The process is adding two numbers and then interchanging the values of the two consecutive numbers. That is the process of the Fibonacci series. So once you find the new number, print percentage d n3. Okay, and now here you can see the print Fibonacci of n minus 1, which means print Fibonacci is the function name, and that is called within the function print Fibonacci. This is called as recursion. So the same function name is called within the function, that is called as recursion. So closing the braces. Okay, this is the simple example of a recursion in recursion program which prints the Fibonacci series. Now let us see the advantages and disadvantages of recursion. The advantages of recursion is, the first one is the code may be easier to write, and then the second one is to solve such problems which are naturally recursive, such as towers of Hanoi. There are some problems where it has the recursive nature, like a Fibonacci series or factorial or the towers of Hanoi is one commonly used program example for the recursion. So the nature of the problem is recursive. That means the same process is repeated again and again. That is called as a recursive function. So for those applications we are using the recursion technique to solve the problem. And then it reduces unnecessary calling of a function. So when you are using the recursion function, the unwanted call of the function is reduced. And then extremely useful when applying the same solution. That means, as I just told before, when the solution is the same repeated for several times, that is, we are using the same function again and again, then we can use this type of recursion technique. And the last one is recursion reduce the length of the code. So length of the code means number of lines in the program is called the length of the code. So this recursion helps to reduce the number of lines in the code. These are all the advantages of recursion. Now let us see the disadvantages of recursion. When you are using the recursion technique, the recursive functions are generally slower than the non-recursive functions. So when you make a function call by the recursive function, it will be little bit slower, whereas the non-recursive functions are faster. This is all the internally how much memory space is occupied and how much time is consumed to run the process. It may require a lot of memory space to hold the intermediate results on the system stacks. So stack is one memory inside the system which stores the function call and return and the function values. So when you are using this stack to store the values of the operation between the function call, so that requires a lot of memory space in between. And the third disadvantage is it is hard to analyze or understand the code. So the tracing when there is no recursion, tracing the problem is very easier. But when we are using the recursion, tracing is little bit difficult. And the next one is it is not more efficient in terms of space and time complexity. What does it mean is when you run any program, we always expect to occupy less memory space, and time also should be lesser. That means the program should run fast. It also use less amount of memory. That is the good program we expect. So the time and the space complexity will be not much efficient in terms of the recursion. And the last one is the computer may run out of memory if the recursive calls are not properly checked. So as I told just before, the same point is repeated in different angle. So here when the recursion is not checked properly, unwanted intermediate results will be stored in the stack of the memory. So that will occupy more memory, and sometimes it happens that the system may run out of memory. That means enough memory may not be available for the proper execution of the program. These are all the disadvantages of recursion. So that's all the recursive function and with the example and the advantages and disadvantages of recursive functions. Hope it is easy to follow, and thanks for watching.